Welcome to The Passing of the Armies, our continuing weekly podcast series that explores the memoir written by Civil War General Joshua Chamberlain and released the year after his death in 1915. We hope you enjoy the series.
The Passing of the Armies. Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain. Chapter 1, continued, The Situation. I have often thought it would be profitable reading for some if a competent observer would recount the scenes at the rear of a fighting army removing from the field after a great battle. A glimpse of this was given at Fredericksburg in '62. But to throw light on our present topic by one more comparison, let us turn to the records of the Confederates for this campaign. According to the careful investigations of General Humphreys, the number of effective men in Lee's army, including cavalry, at the opening of Grant's campaign was not less than 62,000. And at the opening of the spring campaign of '65, not less than 57,000. The accuracy of this is undoubted. The striking fact is thus established that we had more men killed and wounded in the first 6 months of Grant's campaign than Lee had at any one period of it in his whole army. The hammering business had been hard on the hammer. I offer no apology for this long survey of figures. There is abundant reason for it for the sake of fact, as well as occasion in existing sentiment. Among other interesting reflections, these facts and figures afford useful suggestions to those easily persuaded persons of the South or elsewhere who please themselves with asserting that our Western armies did all the fighting. Lorgnettes will get out of order, especially to the cross-eyed. The aspect in which the men of our army have been presented has been mainly that of their elementary manhood, the antique virtues that made up valor, courage, fortitude, self-command. It is not possible to separate these from other personal activities of perhaps higher range than the physical, because, in truth, these enter largely into the exercise and administration of manhood. It seems now to be an accepted maxim of war that the moral forces, meaning by that term what we call the spiritual, pertaining especially to the mind or soul, far outweigh the material. Few would now claim that victory is always with the heaviest battalions. All great contests are inspired by sentiments such as justice, pity, faith, loyalty, love, or perhaps some stirring ideal of the rightful and possible good. Even the commoner instincts partake of this nature: self-respect, sanctity of the person, duty and affection towards others, obedience to law, the impulse to the redress of injury, vengeance for outrage. Something of this entered into our motive at first, but deeper tests brought deeper thought. With all Grant's reticence, we felt sure that he was preparing some great movement, and this must be still to the left, to cut Lee's communications and envelop his existing lines, or, as the wiseacres said, to take Richmond in something like Joshua's way with Jericho, sounding trumpets all around its walls. We had, indeed, been rehearsing for this performance from time to time all winter, and had already cut several of Lee's best communications. Our established line now extended some 16 miles. Occasional dashes had broken in upon them for some 4 or 5 miles farther westward to near Burgess's Mill on Hatcher's Run at the junction of the Boydton Plank Road and the White Oak Road. But these points could not be strongly held by us, and were more strongly guarded by the enemy, as almost their last avenue of seacoast communication. Lee had 2 railroads, the Richmond and Danville, leading to important connections in North Carolina, and the Petersburg and Lynchburg, known to us as the South Side, making a junction with the former at Burkeville, about 50 miles from Petersburg, as also from Richmond. On our part, as we gained ground, we had unrolled a military railroad uphill and down without much grading, and hence exhibiting some remarkable exploits in momentum of mind and machinery. This terminated at the Vaughan Road on the north branch of Rowanty Creek. Meantime, Sherman had made his masterly march from the great river to the sea, and the even more masterly movement north to Goldsboro, North Carolina, where with his alert and dashing army he threatened Lee's sea communication and also the flank and rear of his position. It was a curious element in the situation that the astute Confederate General Joe Johnston should come in north of Sherman and interpose his army between Sherman's and ours. This sort of voltaic pile generated some queer currents of conjecture and apprehension. Disquieting rumors came across the picket lines that Johnston was coming up to strike our flank and rear, and thus, between his army and Lee's, we should be caught in the jaws of a Leviathan. But we believed Sherman would give Johnston something else to do. We were more troubled by the rumor that Lee, presuming on our inertness, was preparing to make a master movement, to occupy our attention by feints in front, while he should withdraw his main army, pass around our left and join Johnston, knock Sherman out, then turn back and attend to the sick lion of the Army of the Potomac. So when on the last evening of the old dispensation we prepared to break camp before the dawn, silently and unseen, without blast of bugle or blow of axe, or sight of fire to betray unusual movements to the ever-watchful foe so near, and each one who could dashed off his little farewell message home, there was in his heart a strange mingling of emotion, the vision of a great joy, in which, perhaps, he was to lie silent and apart, a little shadow on the earth, but overhead a great light filling the sky. This lifted him to the surpassing joy that, however it should be with him, his work and worth had entered into the country's life and honor. Now the solemn notes of the last tattoo rang, "Lights out!" through the deepening shades, echoed from point to point of wooded hill and earth-piled parapet, floating away northward over the awful powers lying hushed beneath the twilight semblance of peace. But the same heart told that the evening bugle would not sound "lights out" again till the nights of the tremendous tragedy were over, that whatever of him or his should be of the returning, never would return that awful, long-repeated scene. Two armies battered, broken, blood-bathed from brow to foot, but still face to face in unconquerable resolve. No, but in the far sky another vision, calm in triumph, thinking not of mastery over man, but of right for all, and in God's heaven the old flag redeemed from shame and scorn, standing for a regenerated people, and a new covenant of brotherly love for the world's hereafter. Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the series. Be sure to be with us for our next installment. I'm Robert Child, and this has been The Passing of the Armies, only on Point of the Spear.
Music licensed from audioblocks.com. Point of the Spear is produced by RSC Media Group.